Hi, I'm Dr. Matthew Norton, the founder of People Plus Purpose, and you have found the Truth Behind Dentistry podcast. And today I am speaking with Rohit Chaparala and Sam Detjen. Rohit is CEO and co-founder at Hemingway, an AI-powered scheduling platform for dental practices. Previously, he was an engineer at a startup in New York City after graduating from Brown with a degree in computer science. And Sam is CTO and also co-founder at Hemingway. And previously, he was a software engineer at Microsoft after graduating with a degree in computer science from Northwestern University. Welcome to the podcast, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great to
thanks
be
for
here.
having us.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm sitting with computer scholars here. And so I immediately have to acknowledge I would be outside of my field of expertise. So I'm going to have to defer to the truths behind dentistry that the two of you bring today on some of these topics. So, but I've been looking forward to adding your voices to the truth behind dentistry mix. And so I think this will be fun. Uh, let's start with kind of a topic of great interest for dentists and really most business owners, something called revenue, right? That's usually something that's a meaningful topic to explore. So how much revenue would you say practices are missing out on today due to their current scheduling solutions?
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. I think that what we've realized is that dental scheduling, there are certain patterns that are followed across practices today, right? It's a lot heavily phone based. Sometimes they use patient engagement tools that are fairly manual in nature, and then sometimes they'll do like manual reactivation campaigns. Um, we think that a lot of revenue is being lost through the cracks in terms of following up on patients that go unscheduled or patients that are trying to reschedule, and then there's a hole in the calendar there because they practice is unable to fill the hole, or even just someone calling at off hours and wanting to book an appointment, and that request getting lost in the fold. We think conservatively, any sort of single location private practice is probably uh, missing out on at least 5,000 in monthly revenue per month because of existing scheduling practices, and we think there's a lot of opportunities, low hanging fruit, in order to sort of optimize that and boost revenue.
Um, is there thinking about truths behind dentistry, is there a fallacy? Is there a fundamental fallacy, you think, in the minds of dental practice owners that is leading to kind of an ineffective way of looking at the scheduling process, which is even behind how whatever tools or approach they're using? Is there something behind there that we could even get further into?
Yeah, I think one thing that comes to mind here is I think there tends to be a lot of resistance to any sort of fluidity in the schedule. So if a patient wants to reschedule an appointment or rebook an appointment, the practice will try very hard to prevent that, or not allow them to sort of rebook. We think that actually, there's a world in which that process is done so seamlessly, and new patients are brought in every month through automated outreach and reactivation and intake processes, that uh, there is a world where patients can be rescheduled easily, and the practice is not losing out on revenue. And there's no need to have to be so prescriptive or restrictive in how practices schedule their patients.
Okay, good. Feel free also, Sam, to jump in at any point with any particular thoughts you want to throw in. Um, do you find that there are, is a significant reluctance to more automated approaches in the way scheduling is handled or rescheduling is handled, ways that we're still kind of stuck in a past of any sort?
Yeah, I think just having talked with a lot of our customers and with dentists in general, I think there's definitely a lot of legacy dentistries in the industry compared to other industries. I think it's an industry that's been a little bit slow to adopt the new technology, and I think one of the cool things about some of the new AI technologies that are coming in now is that they're actually um, really human-like and interactive. So that I think that a lot of dentists like to have that kind of personal touch with their patients, and I think with the new technologies that are coming out and that we're offering to our clients, that they're able to adopt new technology but still kind of keep that existing human touch that they like with their patients.
Yeah, and nothing on there, Dr. Norton, is that one thing one kind of fear that we get when we onboard new customers is, hey, I have certain ways I schedule, I have certain rules or criteria, and I don't want to I don't want to lose that when I bring in new technology. And what we've noticed is that we've been able to train our system and our platform to really conform to whatever patterns the existing practice has been using, so that when they actually we have a very in-depth onboarding process. We really make sure we understand how they're scheduling and make sure that our platform matches that. And the the reception has been pretty positive in terms of even the most fearful dentists who have onboarded are surprised by how smart it is and how quick it is to pick up on those unique scheduling patterns.
Yeah, that's great. I could see an apprehension of people thinking that manually they could control their block scheduling better, or, we want just these things to happen this part of the day. But that makes sense that with today's AI that you can account for those things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, given what you've created and what you're bringing, and as you look ahead even into the future, where are we going over these next 5 years? I mean, I guess that's a good question for almost anything on the planet right now. Where are we really going? But what do you imagine scheduling looking like as you look out ahead?
Yeah, I think at the very least, I think that practices will be realizing a lot more revenue in terms of bookings, because if I think it's inevitable that some sort of adoption to certain this technology will take place, and as a result of that, it's going to start catching opportunities to book and start doing it for the practice. So you're going to see more patients coming through the door, more revenue for the practice, more production, and then also I think you're going to see a much more operationally efficient practice, right? Today, there's uh, a lot of habits or behaviors that the practice undertakes that are pretty inefficient or pretty poor use or allocation of time for the front office and the staff. A classic example is if you want to reactivate patients, practices print out long reams of paper of all the patients who are overdue, and they have someone just go through that list and call one by one. That's something that we're solving today and preventing. And I think you're really going to have a front office that's focused on patient care and taking care of the patient in the office rather than sort of being on the phone, having to sort of look at the calendar and find new times for the patients that they're calling in to reschedule or cancel.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of piggyback on that, I mean, we talked a lot about the practice side, but I mean, I think from the patient side, I think you're going to see like a much better user experience for them, and they're going to be a lot more comfortable and be able to take a lot more action and kind of getting their appointment scheduled like when they want. And I think that's going to actually lead to them coming in more often and having this healthier oral health in general. So I think it's good for both sides.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I think about this kind of place we are right now at times where we really do want to talk to a person, and because we need some customer service, right? We need to have some specific questions answered. We need to get a problem resolved. But I also know I was thinking about my wife was on the phone so much of the day yesterday, dealing with government stuff and waiting like an hour to try to talk to somebody, and so there's times, or even when she was trying to make an appointment with a doctor, and normally there had been an option to be able to make an online booking, but apparently the system was down, which then forced her to have to wait on a long call hold just to try to get somebody to answer the phone to help her. And I mean, she felt like she wasted hours yesterday. So I think I'm saying that to say it seems like we're kind of at this crossroads, right, where we really want people to help us sometimes. Can I sometimes somehow get a human but other times it's like I need efficiency. I need something to work better than this. I'm wasting my life while I'm waiting for somebody to tend to me. So when we look at AI then, and with what you're bringing, what are you seeing in terms of AI driving efficiency and how practices are run? Maybe to speak to anything like I was just alluding to, but anything else in terms of what your forecast is looking out ahead for that efficiency piece that maybe nicely complements the personal touch that practices are trying to have.
Yeah, I think just to kind of piggyback on that example, is that when we designed our system, we definitely think that AI today, and the AI that we built is super capable and able to handle a lot of cases. But we also understand that sometimes people do want to talk to an actual human, and that AI is obviously not able to replicate everything that a human can do. So with our design, we've made it really simple for like the AI to hand off conversations to humans, and we've built like a really nice application that can run on a front desk's computer, so the front desk staff can kind of monitor all the AI conversations that are going on, and then um, when a patient does want to speak to a human, they can kind of seamlessly step in and just get that conversation going as frictionless as possible. So I think uh, that idea you're talking about of kind of wanting that efficiency, but also wanting to talk to a human at the same time is kind of a core piece of what we designed.
Yeah. Yeah, the way we see it working is that it's really that front line of defense, and it's handling the vast majority of requests that, are coming in regularly. But then, in those situations where there is that need for or desire for a human interaction, it's seamlessly escalating to someone who can handle it, and then, take it from there.
What you mentioned could handle the majority. What percentage would you say of instances people could just be needing to contact the office to get something handled from a scheduling perspective, or maybe anything else, maybe moving forward here, and they don't really even need to have the attention of a front office person? What would your best guess?
Yeah, most of the logistical stuff, in terms of like billing, insurance, and scheduling, we think our AI can handle pretty well. The place where we really see that the humans step in is kind of more clinical questions and more kind of personal questions that a doctor wants to answer. So, like, for example, if a patient wants to ask about the procedure that's going to be happening and like wants details on how the procedure is going to be done, but that's something that we throw to the front desk and say, hey, can we get a doctor to come answer this, because we feel like that's kind of like a very personal question, and we think that should be personally answered by the dentist staff. Just
Yeah,
to give
yeah,
an
we don't really want to go into the clinical side of things. We think that squarely belongs with someone in the office.
Say it again. You kind of cut out just a little bit there. Repeat that last part.
Yeah, I was just kind of piggybacking off Sam, just saying that, when we designed the platform, we quickly realized that these clinical sides of patient requests, we feel like that really should belong with the staff. So we wanted to create a system that, all the administrative stuff we want to be able to handle, but, there's a question about medication, procedures, things like that. It's seamlessly raised to someone who can handle it within the practice.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That would be something that people would be more reluctant
Yeah.
to want AI to handle, but also does maybe feel like it's more in the province of like, let me talk to the human expert that can deal with that appropriately. Um,
exactly.
what does that look like? What does that handoff look like? So it basically the AI would be working within the system, handling these things, and then would simply alert a front office person or even to route where that conversation may go next.
Yeah, so I think just to give a simple example, let's say the patient is having a conversation about booking a procedure, and then just over text with our AI agent, and then they actually the conversation goes into a place where we feel like it's best for a human to step in. So what happens at that point is that our AI gives a summary of the conversation, about the current state of the conversation, and kind of gives like next steps for the human to follow, and then like for the user interfaces that's being used by the front desk staff at the dental office. they're going to get a little notification similar to you would on an iPhone messaging app, and you kind of see like, oh, this message is clearly for has a to do for me to come in and answer, and then they'll go in and they'll see the summary from the AI, and then they'll be able to respond right there on the application from their computer. So
Yeah, exactly.
So pretty seamlessly real time, these things are being navigated effectively by people.
yeah, I
And,
mean, just kind of the same way, like on an iMessage app or on a Facebook Messenger, you get seamlessly prompted to respond. It's the same kind of UI that we're giving to the front desk staff. So I think it should be pretty intuitive for all parties.
I think maybe one thing to add there is that not only is it raising it, but it's also just giving a summarization saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, I was looking at this problem, and the patient has a question that I don't think I'm capable of answering, but here's the context. Please when you have a chance, resolve it."
Mhm.
That's great. I'm quite intrigued by and look forward to seeing how all of this works, because I'm thinking about different clients of mine that how much that comes up of how many front desk people do you need, or even going with virtual kind of outsourced humans as a solution for to keep costs down. And yet, but I also just think about how much you mentioned, like the distraction to that patient experience. If you've got somebody in front of you that you're tending to, and then you've got somebody on the phone, and then the phone's ringing, and just the challenge with navigating all of that, and how many of those situations it didn't really require anybody's attention. And
Mhm.
I think to have solutions for that as a customer experience element, in addition to possibly being, could we say, more effective sometimes in handling some of these things, that all sounds really worthwhile to me. So I'm excited that you guys have built this. What other things do you see in terms of efficiency? Is there more that you might want to say, either in terms of both in general AI practice-wide contributions that you're focusing on and interested in, but also maybe how this plays specifically some of these AI advancements for efficiency that we haven't talked about through the software that you've created?
Yeah. I think just to give you a very concrete, more tactical response, right now we primarily focus on text-based intelligent texting for patient communication, but we're actually in the process of rolling out a voice AI product, right? And a good example of where that could be effective is you're texting a patient that is unconfirmed, and they're not responding to your text, and there's a high risk of a cancellation. Uh, Rather than having someone kind of go through the list and call them and confirm the appointment, now we have the capability of having a voice agent that reaches out and says, "Hey, you know, uh, you are scheduled for this appointment. Can you make it?" And then confirms right there, then and there. So in terms of capabilities, like we see a full suite of phone and text, and then also I think beyond scheduling, there's a lot of different. There's a big wide surface area of functionality that we're exploring. We want to kind of explore the billing side of things, right? Making sure that the practice is whole with the patient for whatever procedure conducted, and if there's an overdue balance, that we're kind of handling that on our end, making sure that the production appointment is paid for. Uh, and then also one area that we've been looking into is also the billing side of the RCM side of the house in general. I think there's just a wide opportunity for expansion beyond just scheduling, even just within dental.
Yeah, and just kind of a specific example to kind of piggyback on that, is that I think having talked to practices, I think one of the largest time sucks that they have is like they have to have their staff spend like literally hours per week just waiting on hold with the insurance companies. Um, just kind of get any billing and insurance issues resolved that the insurance companies make them call for. And I think that we're actually building a voice AI product that's going to be able to do that automatically. And so a lot of that time that the staff spends on hold and talking to the insurance companies, we're hoping we can automate most, if not all, of that work and just kind of free up the front desk staff to do more productive things with their time.
Yeah.
That could even be more compelling even than the scheduling piece almost, when I know how dreadful that insurance, not only the waiting, but just that whole process. If and then they'll have their AI people, probably their AI software talking to your
Yeah.
interesting as we move forward here.
Definitely.
Battle of AI.
Any other thoughts on on any of these AI contributions, or and then maybe you could go into talking just a little bit before we wrap up as far as Hemingway itself. Is there anything more that you might like to share about the specifics of what you're doing? And then I would also like for you to tell those people who are watching going, oh, this is cool. I need to get in touch with these guys. What's the best way to reach you? So maybe give us a little amplification further on Hemingway.
Yeah. So we're live today, and we're scaling every week with new practices. We are live with 15 practices today. The majority of them are actually in the Bay Area. That's where we're based out of. And on average, for every practice that we bring on, we're booking about 5 new patients every week. And that's just today. It's just really focused on the reactivation side of the house. You can imagine once you know we start. We are in beta with some of these other features, but we expect to be able to increase the top line for the practice. Most maybe twofold or threefold, but once the full feature set is in store. And yeah, the customers that are on with us right now, they're seeing thousands of new production every week, and hours and save time for their front office staff for some of the more routine, mundane tasks of scheduling. And yeah, we're always looking forward to onboarding new customers. I can give you a link to our website. It's hemingwayai.co. Hemingway is with one M, hemingwayai.co. And then if you go to the website, you can book a demo there. And I'm happy to talk more about our feature set and see how we can help improve the efficiency of practice.
Yeah, and one thing to add there is that we are growing quite quickly, but I think we're still at a size and a stage in our company where, like, both me and Rohit provide pretty personalized customer service to all of our clients. All of our clients are able to reach us and personally get us on the phone pretty much any time of day. And I think that especially when you're kind of bringing on a whole new technological era with AI, I think there's a lot of apprehension with some of the dentists that we've talked to, and I think we really strive to kind of provide that the A+ customer service to kind of make it as smooth of a transition as possible, and just making sure that everything that we're doing is what they want us to do.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is that we really make sure we understand how the practice is doing their scheduling today, because we want whatever patterns we emulate. We are automating some of these workflows to really map to whatever they're doing today, and to do that, we spend a lot of time talking on the phone or over Zoom with these practices to make sure they feel comfortable before we kick off with us.
I think that's a great sensitivity to have, and a great value offering, even just to have that perspective, that mindset of helping to ease people into something where humans in general are for security drive reasons, a bit change averse, right? And so,
Yep.
and I think this whole where do we go to automation and and AI is probably has to be one of those places where there's some apprehension. So I think that's great, and it sounds like a great time to get involved with what you're doing, given your maybe the ease of access at this point to you guys, and to the kind of assurances that you're going to want to provide to people that this is a wonderful thing as it works out for them, right? So I think
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Well, I really appreciate you guys joining, and I'm looking forward to getting a demo, and I'm already thinking of clients that that would really benefit. And I'm imagining, as we don't need to go into that now, but I'm imagining that there are cost efficiencies, investment efficiencies that are meaningful there compared to what people are either missing out on currently in terms of revenue, or also just what they're paying somebody else to do something that's not really optimized. So I'm looking forward to kind of learning more about how that can play together too. So this has been great. I felt like I sat with two computer science guys, and we had a great conversation. So
I think so too. Thank you for having us
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
absolutely, it's my pleasure. So this is Matthew Norton, and this is the Truth Behind Dentistry podcast. We've been with Rohit and Sam of Hemingway AI, and we appreciate you spending time with us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.